Hello, welcome to Tarot by Jillian. I am still doing my newscasting. So I'm going to go over three news stories that are part of this Mitch McCoy briefing. And it was over the weekend of March 21st, 2026. And they issued a teen curfew for the St. Louis metropolitan area and the surrounding counties. So this is three more of the incident reports that Mitch McCoy and Robert J. Tracy uh, pointed to as or highlighted as examples of why it was necessary to have a teen curfew at 10 o'clock over the weekend. So, there was an incident where allegedly hundreds of teens or juveniles were in the streets. Well, so I did some reporting on some of the incident reports, and the last one I did, it was at 2 a.m. at a hospital. So this is a continuation of that. So, according to Mitch McCoy's briefing of these incident reports, the hospital reported, a hospital in St. Louis allegedly reported that at 4:45 a.m., a man showed up at a hospital dropped off by a friend. And then he allegedly told hospital staff that at 9th and Branch there was a takeover taking place. Now, I'm not sure if this guy went to the hospital for a gunshot because I didn't write it down in my notes when I was listening to it. So I don't know if it wasn't mentioned or if it was just because it was like right behind a news story that two men showed up at 2 o'clock in the morning, dropped off by a friend with gunshot wounds, and then the next story was at 4:45. A man was dropped off by a friend at a hospital and described hit, an incident at 9th and Branch. And the words that Mitch McCoy used was a takeover was allegedly taking place. He specifically called it a takeover. That's what I wrote in my notes when I was listening to this briefing. Okay. And then the third story is or I'm sorry. The second story is allegedly happened on Morgan and Fort Gravois. I don't know if that is correct or not. I've heard of Gravois. I don't know. You know, we have like a lot of places in this area that are Fort something. Like I went to Fort Zumwalt School District. So we have stuff like that. I don't know if there's a Fort Gravois. I don't know if that's, and that might even be why they named that road that. I don't know. So even though I've lived here my entire life, I'm not an expert at these locations of these streets. So 9th and Branch. Okay, so Morgan and Fort Gravois. So this evidently happened because of what they call 314 Day. which I've never heard of that. This is the first year I've ever heard of 314 Day. So I'm just like, okay, my first video, I wore this Cottleville shirt. Okay? Look what's on the back. Okay, so 314 Day. Well, what about like 636? Because that's something too. 636 in this area is something. And then I made a joke to myself because the OGs in this area know that if you were like, I was like, oh my gosh, in fourth grade, I was just gonna like not invite any of those 272 people. But those 240 people, they're cool. The 240, uh, you know, if you're like a 240, you can come to my party. If you're a 272, you can't. But it was like everybody's phone number that started with 272 got switched to 240. So it was like the same people. And that was like my joke. Like I was gonna discriminate and be like, I'm not gonna invite those 272 people. Just those 240 people. But it's like the same people. But I never did it because I didn't really want people to talk shit about it. But like, 636. So that's like an area code. Like 314 and then there's a 636. So there's never a 36 of June. So it's just like the 636 people never gonna have like anything like that because there's not a 36th day in June. That's interesting. Okay, so this was listed as a disturbance at Morgan and Fort Gravois. It basically, for 15 minutes, dispatchers were flooded with phone calls about fireworks and like a girl falling out of a car, but like she wasn't really hurt. But it was 15 minutes of phone calls about fireworks, which is interesting because we have fireworks kind of like at these stadiums and stuff in St. Louis all the time. Like Busch Stadium has fireworks all the time. So, okay. So this is the last one. Um, Mitch McCoy said that police set up a bunch of tire spikes and spiked like 50 vehicles. It was very proud about it. I'm not really sure why and where they did that. He didn't really specify. So I'm going to ask one question about each of these alleged incident reports. So this first one, at 4:45, a man showed up. I don't know if he was shot. He said at 9th and Branch there was a takeover, and those are the word takeover is what Mitch McCoy used in describing this event at 9th and Branch. So I'm just going to ask if there's like any semblance to the traditional definition of a takeover of teens, or I don't he didn't really say it was teens. I think he just wanted to imply maybe it was like teens, but he didn't really say that. So I'm not going to say he said it because he didn't say that it was teenagers. And it was a man that showed up at a hospital. So it didn't really say that he was like threatened by teens or anything. So I'm not going to say that. So this for this question for this I'm just gonna ask, um, was there any kind of semblance of what a traditional definition of a takeover would be on Ninth and Branch on this specific uh, day that Mitch McCoy is talking about in this briefing? And I'm going to ask the Divine Universe that. So I'm going to shuffle. So, was there a takeover on Ninth and Branch? Was this guy that went into this hospital at 4:45? Was he accurate in saying that? Okay, so first of all, it's saying like there was no there was no kids involved in that, like at all. Um, and so it's saying that yeah, there was a guy that came in, but he really didn't say anything about it, saying like whatever he said had nothing to do with any kind of he said I waited patiently to get seen by emergency room. I didn't say anything about a takeover. And that's me being a tarot reader. That's allegedly. I'm not speaking for this man. It's just saying like I didn't say hardly anything. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask the Divine Universe if it wants to clarify at all. Okay. Well, it's saying like that's not like if there's any kind of integrity in or any craftsmanship in like policeology, uh that's you might want to like maybe not really like say that it's like a completed thing. You might want to revisit that. Um you might want to revisit that. Okay. So this next story. Morgan and Fort Gravois, the 314 day. So is this 314 day? This is my question about the 314 day. Is this just like to like have divisive something between the neighborhoods? Because like that's like kind of hilarious because we haven't had landlines in forever, but like people still have cell phone numbers with like the 314 and the 636. And then some people like move away after high school and then like get a cell phone somewhere else in college and then they have like some weird like area code because they're like, yeah, I got my cell phone in college or something. The 2000s. Anyway, okay, so I asked, the 314 days, like, is it to cause division? It's like, yeah, but it's actually not. It's gonna actually like smooth stuff over because like the higher self deals and stuff, like we're gonna we're gonna know like who's like what an OG is in the neighborhoods, and that will be something that will be common knowledge, and I don't really have to explain it now, but like okay, so this is like you know a whole bunch of information. It's a whole bunch of information with the 314 thing. So is it like data harvesting? Oh, allegedly. I'm sorry. I'm being a tarot reader. I'm supposed to be a newscaster. Alleged data centers want to exploit 314 allegedly in Minecraft. Area codes allegedly. I don't know. I just read the cards. I mean, we'll just see if like what the outcome to that 314 whatever that is. Yeah, so it's like It's basically there's like no kind of whatever they're trying to do to like have some kind of camaraderie with that. It's not really that divisive. It's like I don't know if you guys know Shelly Driscoll. She's like it's like your best friend getting a tattoo and then it looked better, like it looking better than yours. But it's just like it's cool. We got a best friend tattoo. You know, it's like one of those. Like, and I don't know which one's better, 314 or 636. Like, and I should ask like the receptionists at like beauty salons, like what number area code do they get a better Fifi from? Like, because they have to clarify those details all the time in their job. Okay, so that's the 314 kind of stuff, and you know, I'll just see. It's like it's like there's something like plotting and scheming with it. I'm just gonna leave it there, like allegedly. Like, I I've never heard of it, and it's like this could be a rabbit hole. Maybe not. Maybe don't focus on it too much right now, because I'm doing news. I'm newscasting. All right, so this next story about the spikes. I'm gonna ask maybe a couple questions. I want to know it like was the spike tire setup, was that necessary or was that just being almost like a nuisance? I almost feel like it's a nuisance. This is me being a psychic tarot reader. It's like a nuisance kind of like hassle. Like they wanted to create hassles for people. And it's like yeah, that like throw people off balance, like create kind of drama and almost like I almost feel like there's like a people pleasing, like maybe some people like were trying to leave and trying to like negotiate their way around the spikes, which I that's me being a terrorist allegedly, and so there's like emotional kind of something to that. And and it's like people didn't want stuff that they bought, like tires and stuff, to like be destroyed unnecessarily. And it was kind of, this is like my passive aggressive for like it's like the thought pattern was very passive aggressive. And you know it's it's kind of an isolating, burdensome move for vehicle owners. And okay, so well, it's like saying it was, it's almost describing almost like a mafia kind of situation. And allegedly, like the cards that I just got was like very like pretend, oh, we're gonna like intimidate you, like oh, um, like the Animaniacs cartoon, the Good Feathers or whatever. It's like you talking to me, you talking to me. Like I never saw that gangster movie, but I saw Animaniacs, and that's the kind of uh vibe I get. Like very much like confrontational, but like you ain't gonna do anything. Like kind of what do guys call that in sports ball? Like like talking shit and stuff. It's like I get like shit talking and stuff. Yeah, so it's like immature. It's like an immature like move. So I like eh, just to block people. Like they were trying to block. So okay, I'm gonna just ask for this last question. What is the underlying motive of just putting spike strips out unnecessarily. And allegedly in Minecraft, like what would be the motive of for something like that for cops to utilize that kind of resource? And it's like burdens, kind of keep them where they're at. Uh, negotiation. Yeah, and like kind of be tricky. And it's like the same cards came out, so it's like the universe is being accurate about describing this event of the spiked cars. Um, did I mean, did the city get revenue for this? For tires being spiked? Did they like tow people's cars and impound them and stuff? And was it like generate money that way for the city for impounding? Allegedly. Yeah, it's like they wanted to stop people from yeah, they want like this is like, oh, I gotta be resourceful because there's like some type of maybe a bill that I didn't know I was gonna have. And it is like a separation technique, you know, evidently, allegedly, strategically, allegedly. And so yeah, and it's almost like to test the patience of people to see what they'll tolerate. So I'm just gonna ask, like, are there gonna be lawsuits from these car owners that got their tires spiked in the future? Um, okay, so it's basically saying like it's like an immature move with immature emotions behind it, and um, it was like planned. They planned, and like of course they planned to spike 50 cars if they put spikes up, but it's saying like it's kind of like a fake event, but like as far as payouts, it's like something better than that is gonna happen. So I like to kind of like when I get the something better than like being compensated for your hassles like uh is something that is a possibility. I don't limit that because it's some kind of you know yeah. So it's basically like that's a lot of information. Um, but like it's gonna lead to independence because like it was like a betrayal to car owners that pay for insurance, that pay for safety inspections, that pay for parking, that in my area, even though I'm part of this curfew, I'm a county in the surrounding area of St. Louis metropolitan area. um I have there's no bus, there's no like metro link. Ubers are expensive. If you don't have a car, it's you have to walk everywhere. And you go across the bridge and there's buses that will take you to places in the city. So, even though it's like a 20-minute uh, drive, it's still different. So, I'm gonna end it there. It's kind of getting long, but those are the last of the briefing incident reports. So, I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna do a deep dive, and I'm gonna ask about why why Mitch McCoy allegedly feels like hospitals can determine when teenagers should uh, hang outside at night. So I'll be doing that. So I won't be a newscaster in that. I'll be a straight up tarot reader. I know this one, I was a little bit of both more because all of these incidences talked about men coming into the hospital, and not one of them mentioned teenagers. So the other one that I did in my last video mentioned two men. So, and that still had nothing to do with teenagers. So, um, you know, I don't I don't want to make this video too long, but I hope you enjoyed my video and it was interesting. Thank you. Bye.